Welcome to Real Nerds. I am Ryan. To my left is...
There's something sticky on my laptop.
And in the sound booth is...
Why would you say that on the air?
Because it's where my thumb goes.
It's
Nice.
Brad, by the way.
Cool. So
I'm James.
this week we saw 21 Jump Street. And we'll get to that in a moment. But first, real news time.
It's real news.
So
What happened this week?
This week, The Lorax won the box office again with $38.8 million.
Man.
Which I think bumped it up to almost $100 million. I know it's over $100 million now. It's like $122 million now.
Because that's 3 weekends in a row, which...
2 in a row.
2 in a row.
No, because didn't it win... It won the week it opened, didn't it?
Yeah, it's only been open for 2 weeks.
Oh, you're right. It won against John Carter.
Yep.
I see. I'm getting myself confused
what we saw
now.
last week, John Carter was in second with $30 million.
Which is sad.
Disney's like, where's our money?
Yeah, whether you like the movie or not, you can't want them to lose $200 million on a movie.
I think
Not at all.
And that's yeah.
I think if they called it John Carter of Mars, it would have sold better.
I absolutely do.
Well, I was reading that they were afraid because they did Mars Needs Moms, and so they were afraid of Mars being in the title.
Wow, I never thought about that. Yeah, You're totally... I guarantee that was a conversation had.
And then they had an interesting article in
which is
Entertainment Weekly about movies that are based on Mars and how poorly they perform at the box office. The only movie that did really well was Total Recall, and it did like $120 million in 1990.
And that's not
1990.
And that's not a movie where they... I don't remember the trailers for it, but I don't know how much they promoted that they went to Mars. Like, it's not a movie that's Mars Central.
Actually, I think they did, because I think one of the big selling points of that movie was, remember when Schwarzenegger fell down the cliff and his thing broke and he's like,
out. Yeah.
I think that's actually one of the selling points of that movie.
But what I mean is that it's not like Mission to Mars or Red Planet or one of those movies that is a movie about going to Mars.
Even a movie like Mars Attacks only did, I think, $36 million. So,
but I still feel like that's kind of that's so stupid that they would make that decision, because it's totally it's obviously a non sequitur, you know.
Yeah,
that's the reason that those movies didn't do well was not because they were about Mars. Like Mars Attacks didn't do well because it's a really niche kind of
not that good
sci-fi comedy, you know. I think it's fantastic, but it's such a specific kind of comedy that I wouldn't expect it to do well.
Yeah.
You know? And those other movies I listed are bad movies, so no wonder no one saw them.
Yep.
But
so yeah, it's a bummer. Like I said last week, I like John Carter, so I wish it would do better. But it did over $100 million overseas the first week, so
yeah. You know, I like Andrew Stanton. I don't want him to not be able to make whatever the next thing he wants to make is, just because. I mean, I'm sure that having Finding Nemo under his belt gives him enough clout that he can have a...
I'm sure he can walk into the
bomb.
Pixar and say, I'm making this animated movie now.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, okay.
Yeah, he's not going to be hurting for cash. But if Battleship does really poorly and nobody ever hires Taylor Kitsch again, that'll make me sad, because I think he's really good.
Oh, I'm sure he'll turn up.
I'm sure the Battleship is going to just destroy box office, so it doesn't matter. Not that it should.
I think what Battleship has going for it, even though I think it looks terrible, is people love those movies where they see destruction of like Earth.
Oh, it's and because there isn't a Transformers movie, that is the Transformers movie. People will be there. But
anyways, that's actually a pretty big week in releases for DVD, Blu-rays.
Massive week.
The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo comes out on Blu-ray, DVD, Ultraviolet. And
I feel like buying that movie is like buying The Passion of the Christ on DVD.
I don't know, I actually kind of want to get it.
I just don't know that I could watch it. Like, it was a cool movie, but at some point, I'm making myself watch that scene again.
The box is really nice.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
Oh,
and I bet it looks really nice on Blu-ray.
Is it like the Social Network box?
Yeah, actually. A little thick. It's thicker, though.
That is the most beautiful Blu-ray. Man. All right, now I'll buy it.
And Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy also comes out. A little more, subdued Blu-ray release, but
yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I'm really curious to see Gary Oldman's performance in it.
Yeah, you should see it just for that. You know, that movie's kind of slow, but just for Gary Oldman, it's great.
The Muppets also comes out.
No way.
And the one I'm going to get is a 3-disc Blu-ray DVD digital copy, but the little bonus perk I love on it is you get the soundtrack for free.
Dude.
So that's kind of cool. But it also comes out on just 2-disc Blu-ray.
I already bought both the soundtracks, though.
So you don't need that one.
I don't.
I don't know if it's the whole soundtrack or just a song download.
It says soundtrack on the
It says soundtrack download card.
Yeah, so I'm guessing you download the whole soundtrack would be my
Sweet.
guess.
Yeah.
So I think that's a pretty good deal. I think it's $27 on Amazon.
It's $29, but that price will probably go down.
That's not that bad though.
Yeah.
If you get a soundtrack and a Blu-ray, I think that's a pretty good price.
Yeah. And it's Disney. I was looking at buying Tron Legacy the other day because I really like that movie, and it's still like $24 because they never drop their Blu-ray prices.
Actually, how I get
you always have to expect to pay like an extra $10 for what.
I keep an eye out for Disney Blu-rays every once in a while. How I get stuff like the Fox and the Hound on Blu-ray, and I forgot what else I got, but a lot of times they do a promotion where you buy 2 of them for $30. So if you buy 2 of them, you save a lot of money.
Gotcha.
But yeah, and if you at Best Buy, they have a really cool steel case for the Muppets. If you wanted to check that out, but I'm never going to shop at Best Buy ever again.
How come?
Because I'm part of the Rewards Zone program. For every $250 you spend at Best Buy, you get a $5 gift card.
Yeah, I got that too.
And before I went to West Virginia, Qdoba paid me $300 for food to go out there. But I work at a restaurant. I'm not gonna. I eat there for free.
Yeah.
So I had an extra $300, so I went and bought a Kindle Fire at Best Buy, which was with the Kindle and the cover was like $260 or something.
Yeah.
So that's a $5 gift card right there. But when I went to print off my $10 gift card because I already had points saved up, they charged my account $269 points for annual membership fee. Yeah.
What?
And then when I asked them about it, they said, yeah, it's part of the thing. If you don't use your certificate soon enough, they charge your account.
What?
So I will never shop there ever
so
again.
if you use the points, you don't get charged with the fee?
It's not technically a fee. You lose your points though.
If the points are there for too long, they take them
Yeah,
away.
if the points are there for too long, they take them away.
That's shitty.
And they charged me 269 points.
How did you go that long without using your points? I mean, come on, Ryan.
I know. Well,
How long was it?
I don't know. They wouldn't let me
if you-
click on it, and when I looked online, it doesn't let you click on when they took the points or why they took them. They don't give you any specific
You might have
reason.
to wait
That's
like
crazy.
60 days.
Yeah,
That's
it's
crazy.
stupid though.
That sucks.
Yeah, so fuck Best Buy. I'm an Amazon Prime member, and I save way more money shopping on Amazon. So, you can also get Battle Royale, the complete series, which is a weird Japanese kind of. I guess it's the Hunger
It's just
Games.
2 movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's before the Hunger Games.
Yeah,
but
no, that's what I mean. It's like
It's
what the Hunger
It's-
Games is kind of based
students
on.
are put out to fight each other and
it's the same kind of idea.
contest, and
Yeah.
Which is not new, but
The deep Blu-ray Brad's looking forward to is Hop.
finally,
I forgot
it's
that
been a
movie
year.
happened.
Also,
wow.
The Sitter is coming out on Blu-ray DVD.
Oh, cool.
And our favorite movie of last year is just coming out on DVD only, and that's Creature. Which I think actually the box art's kind of cool on it, but
I was like, wait, what movie are you talking about?
Creature
And then-
is terrible.
God.
And
It's only
again-
getting a DVD version?
yeah, dude.
That's pathetic.
And it's like really far down on the screen on Digital Bits because Digital Bits arranges it by how they sell.
Yeah.
It's like really far down. And I just mentioned them. Go to Digital Bits to buy all your DVDs, Blu-rays through Amazon because you support them and they're an independent site and the money helps them.
And that's just cool.
And they have a really cool site for box art and things you'll never see anywhere else. Really nicely organized.
Yeah.
And so
We'd also like to thank Box Office Mojo
Box
for
Office
our
Mojo
box office statistics.
statistics.
You guys
Box
got any?
Office Mojo.
Is that it? On the
You guys got any news this week?
That's it. News this week. There's a couple things that caught my fancy. Brad reminded me of something. Brad, did you want to talk about it or do you want me to?
You'll do it better.
Okay. 24 the movie has been delayed.
Yeah.
Which
I
is
kept
a
seeing
bummer.
articles about
Touch.
Yeah.
that. Is that exactly what it is? Is that
yeah, 'cause-
he's just not available?
Yeah, they didn't think they could film it fast enough because Touch already got renewed for a second season.
What?
Yeah.
It hasn't aired yet.
Yeah.
Like the pilot has not aired yet.
They had a sneak preview of it in January.
Right.
But I guess they have so much faith in the show that the second
Wow.
season's already been ordered.
That's ballsy. What
well,
channel
they
is that
need
on? Is that on Fox?
Well, they need
Oh,
something
okay.
to take
Yeah.
place at Terra Nova.
Yeah. They need something to take
So
place
that's a
of all the
bummer.
crap
And
they
I
have
heard
on that channel.
that Kiefer Sutherland wants some sort of points against the how much money it's going to make. And
Oh.
Fox is a little iffy about the budget at $60 million. They want to make it for
Yeah.
$40 million.
Well, and asking for points anymore is crazy. Artists or actors just don't generally do not get points anymore.
The only reason I kind of think it might be warranted for Kiefer Sutherland on this is because Jack Bauer's kind of his character.
Yeah.
And, I mean, but too, how much money could that movie... I love the show. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. How much money could it possibly make?
After being off the air this long, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to make it first a good movie and then sell it well to people who were not watching the show.
I think it peaked in popularity in season 5, maybe.
Yeah. Well, season 5, I think, is the best season. But
if they made a movie around then, there'd be a lot greater, probably the best awareness. And now it's been 3 seasons after that, and then
2 years
for a while. Yeah.
But yeah, it's a bummer because I think it'd make a cool movie.
I do too. And hopefully they are still going to do it. It's just
delayed.
Yeah. And the hope here would be that means they have a little extra time. They're not going to have to rush it. They can spend some time making sure that everything about it, quality-wise, is where it needs to be. So hopefully it'll end up working out for the best.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Like Arrested Development.
Hopefully they'll accept my idea for the 24 movie.
Send it to them.
Is it a good idea?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
It retains the some semblance of the real-time 24. I told you it.
Does Jack Bauer's daughter get kidnapped? Because if not,
probably.
Then I don't...
But we see her boobs,
there
and
we
that
go.
made me want to see the movie.
Wrote that in
That's
there.
That's the kind of stuff you can
brought
do
the
in a
cougar
movie.
back. Cougar hasn't been seen for a while.
Since season 2. It's been 10 years since we saw the cougar.
Yeah. There's definitely a mole in CTU. Yeah. There'll be about 3 head of CTU personnel changes throughout the movie.
It's just going to be a bunch of like really, really inside jokes that like it's basically a comedy, but all of the jokes are only things that people who really love 24 will understand.
Most meta movie ever.
It's actually just like 2 of the most boring hours for anybody who's never seen the show.
And the biggest twist, the shocking reveal: President Palmer not dead.
What?
I'll find a way to bring him back
because he's a zombie.
I also read something interesting by Joss Whedon this week.
Yeah. I was going to talk about this.
He had a cut of the Avengers that was 3 hours long. And he said in the interview that he is not going to release a director's cut on Blu-ray because the best version of his film is the one he's putting in the theaters.
Yeah.
And he cut it down to 2.5 hours.
Something like that.
And he wants to cut another 10, 15 minutes out of it.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where that's the way that a normal movie gets made, is that, you cut everything together and you see how long it is, and then you go, okay, now we have to trim the fat, because obviously there is some.
And especially a movie with Avengers, because, I mean, all the actors in it are, pretty big actors.
Yeah.
In relation, but...
And it's Joss Whedon. He writes a lot of words, and stuff plays out longer than it necessarily, needs to, and so there's going to be some fat in there. And with a movie like Avengers, it has to be tight. The truth is that it's a good thing because it means that Marvel is giving him enough control over that movie that he feels like whatever he's doing to cut it is like his artistic vision of what it should be. And the times when you should get director's cut are not like Anchorman, where we really wanted to have more tits in the movie, and no, the times when you get a director's cut should be Blade Runner or things like that, where directors do not feel like their movie got on screen.
Yeah, and he said in the interview too that he said, I'm sure they'll put all the deleted scenes on the Blu-ray because he said that the Blu-ray is going to be bitchin'. So
I'm sure he's got how many releases of the Serenity have I bought? Because every time he puts like something new and cool on there. Where like this last one I bought just because there was a video you could watch at the same time where it's just them sitting on the couch talking shit the whole time. So I'm sure that Blu-ray is going to be amazing.
So I think it's actually kind of cool, and we ran into that when we went and saw Red State, and you asked Kevin Smith, does he feel bad about cutting out the speech that because Michael Parks had, and
when it showed at Sundance that last year. The biggest critique about it was that there was this 17-minute long speech that Michael Parks gave that he absolutely loved, and on the podcast before that he had talked about how great that speech was and how good Michael Parks was in it. And then I asked him because I was like, what did it take for you to cut that stuff down? And what was the brilliant moment about it was when he said that he realized there was something that someone had said where they said that he, like, letting that scene be that long did a disservice to Michael Parks' performance, and that was when it really hit him. Like, okay, yeah, they're right here, and I need to do something to fix this.
Yeah, and it's cool when they recognize that.
Oh yeah,
and it's interesting. And so it's cool that Joss Whedon says, you know what, maybe he doesn't need an extra long scene with Nick Fury talking.
The other little thing that he let slip in that interview was that he said that that the aliens they're fighting are not Skrulls.
Yep.
Which
is crazy because I saw toys of the Skrulls when I was at Target.
Yeah, they look like Skrulls. I'm sure. There's a part of me that really feels like he is lying to us.
Yeah.
To try and surprise us and get us all giddy when it happens, because it's so clearly the Skrulls.
I don't know how in Avengers comics anybody is, but they have a villain called Fin Fang Foom, which is a huge dragon. And I watched the trailer a couple times, and when Iron Man says, "I'm bringing the fight to you," if you look at the robot kind of thing, it looks like his Fin Fang Foom's face.
Dude.
So I don't know if they updated
I'm sure that's
his
in there.
look.
I mean, I don't know if they're going to call that Fin Fang Foom, but I'm sure that there is at some point they said, like, hey,
because it kind of looks like it's alive. It's not really like
it does.
Armor, where it's not really like a robot. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think that's all I had. I'll go over what Brad has supplied me to tell everybody really quick.
Well, that was my news. You're just using my notes, but go ahead, do it.
Did you want to talk about him? Because I don't know if you remembered him.
I'll comment. You can announce him.
Okay. Jurassic Park 3D is coming out next May.
That was my comment. That wasn't Brad's comment.
James gave the raspberry.
Yeah.
James isn't excited about it.
I don't mind. I mean,
whatever.
Jurassic Park gets back in the theaters. The 3D probably won't be great because...
No, but it's the same thing. Like, I would love to see Jurassic Park in theaters. I've never seen it in theaters. I would love that. Eventually they'll bring it to Esquire and we'll see it there.
It's frequently
but still,
at Esquire.
Like, I don't know why you don't just re-release it. I don't need a 3D version of that. I can't see that enhancing that movie at all.
I'll go see it. I love Jurassic Park.
I just saw episode 1 in 3D. Yeah. I'm sure I'll go see it. It's Jurassic Park. It's one of the most perfect movies ever made. But
that's what 3D does, is it gets it back into theaters. It gives an incentive for people to...
But I feel like, and especially with a movie like that...
to put it out there.
I can see it being a barrier between me and that movie. You know, it's I have to suffer this thing to see this thing I love. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas you could just put it on that screen and,
well,
like when I saw
we're the minority. As far as 3D goes, that's
I don't think that's true. I mean, 3D sales are still
lower. It's reversing for sure, but
yeah.
Hollywood's mentality is it's still hugely profitable. So
yeah, no, it is.
Brad has also mentioned that WonderCon is this weekend in Anaheim.
Is there anything going on there? I haven't seen any news really come out of it.
It's part of the big, circuit of
what's the name of
Comic-Cons.
Yeah,
it's WonderCon, but I just put it on there because why aren't we there? Like we don't get to go to San Diego, but there's plenty of tickets available for this one in Anaheim just down the road this weekend.
Well, because we would have had to fly to Anaheim in 2 weeks.
Disneyland.
Well, I'm just saying, if we'd been more attentive.
Yeah,
to the convention. That's okay because we're going to 2 other ones.
Yes,
2. Oh, Starfest.
Yeah.
Actually, and to be selfish, we have some exciting news that Brad has been working on all week.
Oh,
Brad, I
write that on there?
Brad, what have you been working on this week that hopefully we'll be able to launch very soon?
Has it ever been really difficult for you guys to just go to realnerds.tumblr.com and scroll down the page, find the podcast?
Sometimes, yeah.
Play them. Has been difficult to go onto iTunes and get the podcast.
So difficult it pisses me off, and then I don't listen to the podcast.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
And for that reason alone, it's why I'm developing a Real Nerds app.
Dude, no way.
Where it will automatically load in our recent episodes and collect the old ones. And, instead of, typing in an address or opening up iTunes, you can just open up our app from your smartphone and be directed directly to the most recent thing we've been up to.
And then when we're recording, can you listen live?
No, but I'll work on it. I'll see what I can do.
That's too cool.
That's cool.
I was trying to find something that was outrageous that it'll we don't really need it to do.
We got to start streaming our show.
Yeah, that is too cool. I didn't know you were doing that. Man.
Yeah, I found out about it on Thursday. So I was like, I can do this? All right.
How long do you think it'll take you?
I don't know.
Cool.
It seemed like I could do it in like 10 minutes, so we'll see.
So we'll see. But so that's exciting, and for selfish reasons, that's awesome because if people who don't know, if you listen to our show, you'd know. But Brad's really the technical guy, and he's really good at formatting things. Our Tumblr page is designed by him. All the banners are designed by him. So
everything pretty and that requires any level of talent is
designed by him. I'm really just the talking head. Brad's the creative talent. So hats off to Brad.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be really cool.
So yeah, keep up the good work. I'm not paying you for it, so it's awesome that you just help us out. But maybe someday soon, someone will listen to it. Disney's like, these guys are so funny. They should have their own show. Fuck Leonard Maltin. Let's put these guys on.
Leonard Maltin's a pretty cool
Maltin.
guy.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. Who's dead? Gene Shalit. Fuck that guy.
I know you're joking, but I just want people who don't know us to know that I don't hate Gene.
I don't want to start an
Leonard
internet
Maltin.
war.
No, I love Leonard
Maltin.
Maltin. Actually, he's one of my favorite parts of the Disney Treasures DVDs.
Yeah, he's like the Disney curator or whatever.
Yeah, he's a Disney historian, and he introduces all the cartoons, and so I love him. I really do. And his book's actually good. His movie review book, because he also likes silly movies like other people. He's not like a uppity critic.
When I was little, the version of the Star Wars VHS tapes that I had, they all had like 20-minute interviews with Leonard Maltin and George Lucas at the beginning of every one that I watched every time I watched the movie because I just thought it was fascinating. That was the first time that George Lucas ever lied to me. Was when he said, "Oh yeah, I wrote these prequels and someday I'd really like to make them."
Yeah.
And I thought, that's too cool. He wrote 6 movies before he made this one. No,
before I wrote
didn't.
Star Wars, I originally conceived of the trilogy as the story of Anakin Skywalker, and I shelved those stories and did these for now because they were doable. And
lies on lies, man.
So,
anyway,
the last thing Brad has on here, if you're in the Denver area, the Esquire is running really cool shows at midnight. Brad tomorrow is seeing Back to the Future. It's also available. Today is March 16th.
They do 2 nights, Friday and Saturday nights, for their retro movies, and it's playing right now. And tomorrow I'm going to go catch the second showing. And they recently added these retro concessions trailers and old, not full like Spielberg movie trailers, but the teasers that they would throw in, I guess, between concession commercials and stuff. And there's like even an Orange Crush commercial. It's hilarious.
That's too cool.
They said they found them recently in a box like in the back of the theater, which
wow.
I don't know how you lose a box like that for 30 years, 20 years, 20, 30 years. So,
yeah.
It's cool. And they played almost 15 to 20 minutes of like hot dogs and pretzel and
that's too neat.
It felt like you were really back in time,
Back in time.
Watching what was it last week I saw Ghostbusters. Yeah, it felt like I was watching Ghostbusters back in '84.
That's too cool.
Yeah.
Man, now I really want to go.
And also sometimes like when the fans come out, like for Ghostbusters, the Ecto-1 came out and people got to take pictures with people wearing proton packs and stuff. And so the last time I saw Back to the Future, there were like 3 DeLoreans in the parking lot. And
I still want to go.
Yeah.
We need to go.
So yeah, if you're in the area, come on out.
Next week is The Evil Dead, which I'll probably go see.
Yeah.
The week after that, April 6th and 7th, is RoboCop. And then April 20th and 21st is The Wrath of Khan, which I've never seen, so I might go see that.
Yeah.
No way, you've never seen The Wrath of Khan? We need to make
Khan.
pilgrimage to The Wrath of Khan.
We need to take that. Should be your introduction to Wrath of Khan is that midnight.
Sure.
Because here's the thing. That it's kind of like with the new Star Trek movie. Wrath of Khan is not just a good Star Trek movie, which it is. It is also just a great action movie. That movie is. Yeah. That movie
I'll take
really
your guys'
special.
word for it.
Yeah, we'll have to go see that.
James, you got some news for me this week?
I got one more little thing, which is that they're supposed to be starting making a new a Tron 3 this year, which blew me away. Wait a second. Was that a sardonic yes?
No, I love Tron.
Okay. Did you like Tron Legacy?
More than Tron 1.
Wow, me too.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. That movie got just ragged on when it came out.
I feel it's a little hollow, but I think if they delve into the science a little more and write a script and more like introspective of man and machine, then
and I had heard that kind of
better.
quite a bit, but I also kind of feel like I compared it to John Carter last week. This was the movie where they wanted to introduce you to this world more, and then to really delve into some of the deep, cool ideas that they could do. That would have to be a sequel thing, and yeah, hopefully they would do that in a sequel. Even if they don't, I just think stylistically, like I don't know how anybody could just watch that movie, which is well paced. Like it's not. I don't think it's boring at any point, but it's just so beautiful.
Yeah, the art direction is amazing.
That to not enjoy that 2 hours of your life, I just can't imagine.
Visual feast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like there are times I'll just turn it on because it's on Netflix for free right now.
I don't know
I'll
about
just
you.
turn it on because it's cool to look at.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I thought the 3D when I saw it was really good.
I don't think I saw it in 3D.
Yeah.
I kind of wish I had because there was some stuff. Oh no, I did. I did see it in 3D. That's right. The second time I saw it in 3D. And yeah, it was pretty cool. But yeah, I'm really excited because I don't remember it doing terribly well, and I know that the guy who directed it, I think it did okay, but it
170 million.
like Disney had sort of built that up thinking that was going to be a flagship, like people talked about it for years, and there was a lot of hype around it, and I don't think that it quite did as well as they wanted it to.
Preview at Comic-Con, like people flipped their lid over.
Exactly.
Me and Brad were there.
Yeah.
Race to Witch Mountain.
And so to hear that they're making another one. Oh, the other I was going to say, because also the guy who directed it, whose name I now forget, had a thing that like
Joseph Kaczynski.
Yeah. He wanted to make this movie, which I think is called Oblivion, or at least that's the working title. And like before that movie came out, it sounded like a done deal, right? Like that was just what he was going to do next, because it was a passion project for him. And then the way that Tron Legacy opened, especially critically, it got so panned that suddenly became like a question mark. Like all of a sudden that whole project, and there's still rumblings, but it's taking a long time to get going, which if that movie had exploded the way, like in a 300 way, then whatever his next project was exactly. Yeah. Or like Pirates, that next project was just going to happen immediately. But so it's cool. I really want to see another Tron.
Yeah, me too.
I don't want that universe to go away. So,
what are the consequences of bringing someone from the Tron world into the real world?
Yeah. That is the one thing. They had better get those two actors back.
Olivia Wilde is hot. Did you see her in that tight suit?
I think she's extremely
In
attractive.
Tron?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, totally. Also, the jokes about do you know Jules Verne? Really good. Anyway, that's everything that I've got for news this week. Kind of
Cool.
like week.
Yeah. Anyways, what we've been watching. Ryan has been sick, so he watched a lot this week.
Are you still on your RDJ kick?
Yeah, I only watched one this week because when I was online, I'm really close to catching up on seeing almost all of his movies.
Wow.
So some of them I still need to get home for the holidays, and the one I actually want to get is Richard III, which is with Ian McKellen as Richard III, which seems really interesting to me, and it has really good reviews. It's at 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. What actually caught my fancy is I was just on Amazon. I typed in Bruce Campbell because I want to get My Name is Bruce on Blu-ray, but right now it's like $30, so I didn't get it.
Yeah.
Anyways, as I was searching, and about 20th down the list is a movie called Intruder. Now, I've never heard of this movie, and I'm really disappointed in myself that I've never heard of it, because this movie stars Sam Raimi, Ted Raimi. It's directed by Scott Spiegel, who co-wrote Evil Dead 2. He also wrote the script. And the whole movie has all these people from Evil Dead 2 in it. And the premise of the movie is there's an intruder in a shopping, like a grocery store at night, and he's killing everybody. But it has like some zany moments in it, like you'd expect from an Evil Dead movie. And there's a part where the killer is stalking this girl, and he says a line from Raising Arizona, which is pretty funny. He's like, I have a sandwich in one hand and a severed head in another. I forget the exact line, but I recognize a line from Raising Arizona. Yeah. I'm like, oh, wow. I guess they came out about the same time because the Coen brothers and Sam Raimi are really good friends.
Oh, funny.
And that's why Bruce Campbell's in all their movies and things like that. But Sam Raimi is really funny. He plays a butcher in it. And his brother, Ted Raimi, is a stock boy for fruit, I guess. I don't know. He's always stocking fruit and watermelons in the movie. And the effects are done by KMB. If people don't know who KMB are, shame on you. But they're like the big horror movie effect guys now.
Yeah.
And it was shot in 1989. It was supposed to come out in theaters, but the company that was supposed to release it went bankrupt, so it went straight to video. And it kind of caught on video, and everybody should watch it. If you like slasher movies, it's actually pretty funny. And you have to kind of be in that world to get some of the jokes. But, yeah, the movie's really good. There's lots of red herrings, so you don't know who really is the bad guy. And it plays on the usual, this one guy, he's so bad he must be the killer, but you know that he's not.
Yeah.
And Bruce Campbell is in the movie, very briefly. And he makes an appearance.
Now, I saw on the back, well, obviously the back of the DVD was made after everything, after all these guys were famous, but on the back it just sort of says like special appearance. This was not made at a time when he was known, though, right? Like he's just like some crummy little side character. Like he doesn't...
Well, I don't know if he's really... It's 89, so I mean, Evil Dead 2 came out in 86, so...
okay.
Somewhat known.
Okay.
I guess in the horror circles he probably was known.
Yeah.
Because the two Evil Deads and Darkman hadn't come out yet. But
that was going to be my next question. Was when was Darkman?
But it was really cool seeing it, and it was released on this really this Blu-ray that they have a 45-minute making of the movie on it. They interview Bruce Campbell, and the only guy who's not on it is Sam Raimi, which is a bummer, but.
I feel like I don't see a lot of like video.
He really
interviews
doesn't.
of Sam Raimi.
He really doesn't. Even when he does commentaries on the Spider-Man stuff, he's always with the producers, and he kind of gets faded out. But if you ever have the opportunity to listen to him do commentaries, he's amazing. So yeah, you should check out Intruder. It's kind of a quirky little forgotten slasher, and some dude gets his face sawed off with a bandsaw, which is really cool.
Sweet.
And they show the whole effect. It's pretty sweet.
Man, that's crazy.
It's practical effects, so it looks really cool. I also watched The Soloist, which is Robert Downey Jr. and Jamie Foxx, which is actually a true story about an LA Times writer who was sitting in a park one day, and he heard, in real life, he heard a guy playing bass. In The Soloist, he hears Jamie Foxx's character playing a violin. He's playing Stevie Wonder. And when he asked him, he went to the Juilliard School of Music, which is a really famous school in New York, I guess. Mm-hmm. And so as Steve Lopez, as the reporter, he started writing stories about this guy and that he's schizophrenic and he's homeless now, and how does someone who makes such great music wind up on the streets? And everybody loved it, and it got him his it's a really long story, but he basically helps him get back to where he can be in society. And it brings awareness to schizophrenic, homeless people. And not everybody who's homeless is, doesn't try to be.
Right.
And
exactly.
it's the performances are amazing in it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've seen it.
Sorry, I'm sick. The only thing is it kind of has some weird moments in it. The director makes some odd choices.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of, I feel like there's some pacing where it takes a while to get certain stuff done, and then there's there are certain places where it feels a little bit hammy.
Yeah, I agree.
It's definitely it's trying to be one of those like
Oscar movies, yeah.
Yeah, and at the same time being one, not just any Oscar movie, but the kind of Oscar movie that like families like.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
It's that sort of happy, like a Blind Side kind of a movie, where it wants to be a really happy story.
Yeah.
Hi, Cat.
But the performances are amazing in it. Downey Jr., of course, is always good.
Yeah.
Jamie Foxx is really good, because I'm sure it's not an easy role when you have to constantly be rambling on about weird things. And,
yeah.
So yeah, you should check out The Soloist. Soon on our Tumblr account, I will write a review and a ranking of all the Robert Downey Jr. movies. So look forward to that.
What are you going to do when you see them all?
I don't know.
Kill himself.
Yeah, I'll be just done.
My life is complete.
He's gonna fly to Hollywood and like kill himself
I'm
on
gonna
Robert
fucking
Downey
murder
Jr.'s.
myself if I don't see every Robert Downey Jr. movie.
This cat just hissed in my ear.
I know that.
Fuck you, T-shirt cat.
Yeah, that cat sucks.
The hell was
sometimes.
that?
She's nice, but then she gets crazy.
I'm sitting here. This is my chair. All right.
I also, when I was really sick, went to the movies by myself because I got tired of being cooped up and I had this really bad headache. So I'm like, I should just go get bombarded with sound for 2 hours.
That sounds like a good idea.
And I went and saw Silent House, which stars Elizabeth Olsen, and the whole movie it takes place in one shot. Except watching so many movies, I could tell actually where they cut the shots. But there's some parts where it literally goes like 30 minutes without a cut.
Yeah.
And the movie's pretty good. A lot of people weren't happy with the ending. The ending's all right.
Yeah.
I can see why.
How many really well-written, great horror movies with wonderful endings are there?
Yeah.
Honestly.
That's the problem sometimes with movies is when you rely so much on a twist ending that if people aren't expecting what the twist is, then people kind of backlash against it.
Yeah, I got you.
But she's really good in it.
When we've gotten to a place now, especially with your Usual Suspects and your Sixth Senses, where if the twist is not really unbelievable, then the twist is stupid.
So yeah, if you want a horror movie, which basically just stars one woman the whole time, and the camera follows her around, and
she is constantly scared,
then you should see it. She's really good in it, and I think one of the parts where the movie actually does succeed is because you're focused on her the whole time, and you hear noises around you, and so in stereo, it's really cool. I mean, you'll hear something behind you to the right, and so that you're focused on her, you don't really know what's going on. And so
that's cool.
So that's kind of cool. So, if you're bored one day and it's on Netflix, you should.
And that's one of those neat sort of, I think it was a Sundance one that, it was a movie sort of created by this couple and thought up by them, and they did all this work and did it really indie, and then it sort of blew up at Sundance.
Exactly.
Or I'm pretty sure it was Sundance, though. It blew up at Sundance, and now people can go see it, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime a movie gets some attention like that is neat.
And then when I got home, I was still not feeling well, so I went to Best Buy. I already talked about that. But I got Schindler's List and Step Brothers, and I watched them in the wrong order. I watched Step Brothers first, and then Schindler's List. Not that Schindler's List is not an amazing movie. I think it's one of Spielberg's best movies. But you're really depressed after that movie.
Have you never seen Schindler's List before?
I have, yeah.
Okay, can I borrow your copy of Schindler's List? Because I haven't.
Is it on Blu-ray?
No, it sucks.
Oh, gosh, and that's the thing. This week I really wanted to buy Catch Me If You Can on Blu-ray. No Catch Me If You Can Blu-ray.
Nope.
I don't know why he takes so long to get... I mean, I know why, but I wish he didn't take so long to get Blu-rays out there.
But Spielberg's movies are more owned by the studio than they are him, so...
Yeah, and the reason I
the
decided...
studio feels like bringing them out.
One of the reasons I decided to buy it is it was only $7.99, and it's a black and white movie, so sometimes, Blu-ray can't really enhance it that much.
You're right. You're right.
But the movie's outstanding.
Yeah.
Ray Fiennes in it is a bastard.
Yeah.
And M. Beth Davids went from Army of Darkness to Schindler's List, so quite a step up for her, and it's mentioned on the commentary track by Bruce Campbell. Not on Schindler's List, on Army of Darkness.
Not a Bruce Campbell Schindler's List. Oh, that would be great. Oh,
but the movie is amazing, and and Step Brothers is funny. So that's what I watched this week, a lot. I also watched The Walking Dead, but we can talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
So I watched a lot, and
I got my copy of Plan 9 from Outer Space on Blu-ray this week, and I watched that, and man, that movie,
don't say great.
No, it's not. It's not great. Like, I love it, and it is so close to my heart. But it is horrible. Like, I even put the quote on Facebook where they've talked with their general.
Oh, that's what that was from. I could not think. I'm like, what the hell is he talking about?
The aliens are talking to their general guy and telling him what plan they're going to use to take over the world, and then he and his assistant go back into the spaceship hallway while in the cardboard set that they're using, and he says, it's funny. Humans who can think are so afraid of those who cannot, the dead. And then that's the end of the scene. That's the scene. Like, why? Oh, the movie is just, it's full of gems like that. Because it's so horribly written, and but still the best Ed Wood movie. Like, I've seen his other movies, some of them, and they're garbage compared to Plan 9, which is just like, it's a gem, And so if you've never seen Plan 9,
we'll borrow your Blu-ray.
You can borrow my Blu-ray because you haven't seen it, right?
I have seen it.
Oh, okay,
but,
good.
It'd be fun to watch it on Blu-ray.
What's weird is that the Blu-ray is like if you just pull up the menu and click play, it'll put you into the color version. You have to dig into the extras to find the black and white version. Yeah, but both of them they did restorations on the movie, and it looks beautiful. Like for a movie that.
Sorry, is there a documentary and everything on the movie too?
No, that's the thing. The Blu-ray is not great. Like my DVD's got more stuff on it. Like it's got a documentary about the theremin and stuff like that.
Oh, so you have a Blu-ray and a DVD of Plan 9 from Outer
actually,
Space.
I've bought 2 DVDs of Plan 9 from Outer Space because one of them got stolen by this mean kid Juan in high school.
So you probably just doubled the box office of Plan 9 from Outer Space with your 2 DVD purchases.
But it's cool to see, this movie that no one gave a shit about at the time, and I can't believe that they have a good copy of on film. But on DVD, the only times you even really see a lot of film grain or any wear on the film at all is in the stock footage shots. Really, like the stuff shot by Ed Wood is all really still very, very beautiful. I'm sure you could compare it to the recent Casablanca black and white Blu-ray version, and they would look fairly similar as far as quality is concerned, which is insane. The fact that somebody spent that much time cleaning up that movie is crazy. Also, something I stole this week, Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency aired its first and I think second episode in the UK, which is it's a show based on the novels A Long Dark Deep Time of the Soul and Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency, which are Douglas Adams novels, and Douglas Adams wrote The Hitchhiker's Guide for the Galaxy. That's what he's really famous for. But this is this other one that people also love. And I only watched the first episode, and it is brilliant. Like, if you like, sort of quirky, like if you're somebody who likes Sherlock, the British Sherlock show.
I like Robert Downey Jr.'s. Oh.
No, not that. You should see
He is
British
Iron Man.
Show. If you like that British Sherlock show, this is like that, only intentionally really witty and funny, and like the main character is kooky and crazy, sort of. Basically, it's about this guy who he's a holistic detective. He sees links between things where there are clearly not links, and they don't pretend that there are. He just makes up links and makes up rationales for the things he's doing, and often they're not the right thing, and they're stupid things. I was telling somebody earlier tonight that there is a scene in the first episode where he and his partner have set up a trap for this murderer, that they're trying to solve this murder, and he left a note at the crime scene expecting the murderer to come back for some reason, and they're waiting around at their agency for this murderer to show up. And he finally gets bored, and he's like, I'm going to go get a pizza. And his partner says, wait, you can't leave me here in the trap while you go get a pizza. And he rationalizes how, well, if the murderer does show up, they wouldn't actually be interested in killing us because we don't actually have the stuff they want. So we're actually in more danger of starving to death than we are of this murderer showing up. So I'm going to go get a pizza. And that's the thing he does. Like, he keeps he'll just pull shit out of his ass so that he can go do whatever he wants. And it's brilliant. Like, it's going to be my new favorite thing. I'm just sure of it. But I don't think I'm going to keep watching it. I'm going to wait until the Blu-ray comes out and watch it with my brother, because every time that something really just lovely happened in the episode, I thought, oh, Jake is going to love this show. Like, it's going to be his favorite thing in the world. And so I'm going to wait and watch the rest of it in probably a year when the Blu-ray finally comes out. But at least that's my hope. Probably next week I'll download the rest of the show and burn through it because it's great.
See,
but
piracy does encourage sales.
No, it does. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I've talked about this before.
Yeah. I'm for that half of the argument. Like, it does.
I don't want to wait. And the truth is, if I can get a really good, really good downloads of it, I'll probably download them and maybe we'll watch them in a few weeks, the downloaded version. And then he and I and probably my parents will all buy Blu-rays of it, and I will tell all my friends. So yes, it does encourage people to buy things. Anyway, other than The Walking Dead, that's all I've been watching. What have you been watching, Brad?
I've had a hard time being at my apartment all week, so
bummer.
I haven't been able to watch much of anything. But like I said, I saw Ghostbusters last Saturday, and
is that movie good? I've never seen it. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I know.
I'm kidding.
It's like, what? I haven't seen it in a while, and I unfortunately did sleep through
oh no,
some of it. But
Tell him about the Twinkie.
what?
Tell him about the Twinkie. That's the part you slept through.
Yeah.
Tell him about the Twinkie.
Yeah, I thought I wasn't missing much, but then towards after the Sigourney Weaver and Rick Moranis get possessed, I got lost. I woke up, I was like, what's good? Oh, they're already fighting them. No.
Oh.
I missed so many good things. At least I saw them. I think I woke up when they get arrested by the police and go to see the mayor, and
right.
one of the best lines ever happens.
Which is?
When I think what's his name? Dan Aykroyd is saying, like, they're talking about William
Egon.
Atherton. They're fighting with William Atherton, and he says, like, this dickless guy over here, and then Atherton interjects, and then the mayor says, "Is that true?" And then Bill Murray goes, "Yes, man. This man has no dick."
Oh, I do remember that. Yeah.
In a PG movie.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's great.
Anywho, yeah, it's Ghostbusters. It's classic. The special effects obviously are a little meh after all these years. But still pretty impressive for the time it was in.
Yeah.
Like the ghost effects things and
for the kind of movie it was. It wasn't a big CG, it wasn't a
special effects
movie.
Yeah.
It was a comedy,
and a bit of a satire of, like, it started out as a joke. Like it wasn't supposed to be a serious movie about fighting ghosts. It's supposed to be making fun of something, I forget. But while watching it, I was trying to imagine, because they're trying to make Ghostbusters 3, like what else, like where else you could watching it, where else could you take these characters that'd be fresh and inventive? And I couldn't really think of anything at the time, but I kind of went back to, you just need to get new, bring in some good comedians and just kind of start over, like just pass the torch.
Don't retell that story though.
Yeah, don't retell it exactly, but get Jonah Hill to inspire your comedy, because it might work out as far as reboots go. Anyway, we'll get to that. And then I've been watching The Office, which I know you guys don't care about. So
it's not that I don't care. Is it still good?
I actually didn't like. I didn't actually like this week's episode, Thursday. But then again, I was watching it like 3 a.m. with very minimal sound, so I was missing some jokes. But
Gotcha.
I really liked the whole Tallahassee trip. I thought that was really a shining moment for this season. So, and they're trying to kick Andy out, so we'll see how that goes.
Eventually, I have to assume they have to kick everybody off of that show.
Well, yeah. Actually, one of these things I was thinking is, obviously Steve Carell can't be back on the show, but I don't understand why they're not getting emails from him, because he was a big email forwarder. So you could easily have the actors who are on the show right now act in response to Michael Scott's antics, kind of keep the character going without Steve Carell being there.
The problem is that then draws attention to the fact that Steve Carell isn't there,
So, I mean, it started out as a documentary of The Office, and now it's more like a sitcom about The Office.
Unlike the British show, they've
become their own things, own thing, but still, it's like, logically, like, why aren't they getting emails from Michael Scott?
I understand what you're saying, yeah.
So, like, and if you want to, like, it's another way they could keep interest. Like, Michael Scott can still be around. It just relies on the actors who are still in the show to build his character who's not physically there.
Yeah, I guess.
So anyway, yeah. But, Tallahassee, I thought was good.
Cool.
I'm interested to see what happens, because they've, I feel like they're really trying hard to make you like Nellie, which is the female applicant from last season, the British woman.
Yeah.
I feel like they want...
From Doctor Who.
Yeah, they want to make... they kind of want to bring the British office to the American office, but I don't know if her character's likable enough. And if she's just a villain for this season, that's fine. But if they're really trying to make her the permanent manager of the office, I'm not into it. And I'm sure she's a great actress and everything, but her character is just so...
Yeah, I remember that episode when she showed up, and I was like, it's a weird one, because they went and found that actress for that part, and then which makes it you feel like they have ideas for who that character could be, but then I don't think it worked very well.
She talks a lot and rambles and just kind of... doesn't shut up, and
That doesn't sound like why I like The Office.
there's a great cutaway to Jim just. The last week's episode just throws you into her taking over the office so quickly that they constantly cut away to Jim just like going, "What is going on?" Like the whole structure, everything was working out fine, and now she's back, and I can't do anything. It's just I'm powerless. It's great.
Cool.
And anyway,
Is that it?
Yep.
And then The Walking Dead.
Did you watch The Walking Dead, Brad?
I did watch The Walking Dead.
Good. Because
No. Before I start this, I have to say something. If you have not read the comic book The Walking Dead, or if you've not seen the show The Walking Dead, you really shouldn't listen to this part of this podcast because this is one of the biggest twists of the comic book and of the show. So skip forward,
Joe.
yeah, absolutely. Oh gosh, yeah.
So this episode starts with them deciding that after Dell has died, that they are gonna do what Rick originally wanted to do, is let this kid go.
They're going to honor Dale by following his principles.
Exactly. And so what happens is Shane goes crazy. He was already kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But they
He's
kind
been
of
going crazy, but this time
but
he
they
really
kind of actually showed
he
him
cracks.
going crazy.
Yeah.
And he kills the kid, takes him away, kills the kid, then sets up that he was attacked by this kid, comes back and goes his separate way with Rick.
Yeah,
And
sort of gets the group to go searching for him, and then gets alone with Rick in the woods.
In the woods. And there is, in the comic book, Shane does not make it past issue 6.
Yeah.
So that he made it this long in the TV show was awesome because I thought it actually made him a really great villain, and
They delve into that character and why he's going crazy.
and I totally forgot
all of the different aspects of why he's really losing it.
I forgot
so
the most
much
important
better.
part of it. The reason why he made that decision, because remember, he talked to Lori.
Yes,
And
I was
Lori
thinking
told
so.
him, "Thank you for helping us." And I think in a way it kind of set him off.
Yeah.
Inspired him to feel like I could get her back.
Yeah.
Rick wasn't around.
She was nice to him again, and that sparks things again, and he starts thinking like, okay, if I do this right, I can get everything I want.
Yeah. And so Glenn and Daryl go one way, and Rick and Shane go another. And while they're searching for this kid, the kid's already been killed by Shane, by the way. Daryl and Glenn stumble upon the zombie version of the kid, and you find out that you don't have to be bit or scratched by a zombie to turn into a zombie, which actually kind of goes back to the original Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, where if you died, you turn into a zombie. There's no infection isn't spread just through bites,
And it has a chilling effect over everything in the book and in the show. It means when the characters understand that, they understand that whatever it is that turns them into zombies is already in them, and that their destiny is to be a zombie. They are now and will be the Walking Dead.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just that there is this force out there coming to get them. It's that they are that. It's already in them as well. You know, they can't just defeat this thing.
So, anyways, so that was a big moment, and then they get to a wonderfully shot scene.
Yeah, it
of
is really
Rick and Shane in this open field,
That silhouette is really
and
cool.
Shane is going to shoot Rick,
And Rick knows.
and Rick knows.
Rick gets out there and just sort of knows.
Yeah,
this is how this is going to happen.
About 10 minutes before that, there's that great shot of Rick saying, "So this is the way that you ran?" And Shane looks back, he's like, "Yeah, somewhere around here, man." And then Shane kind of leaves the frame, and then it just keeps on Rick for a couple beats.
Yeah.
And you know that he figured out what's happening.
Yeah, because it's a shitty plan. You know, Rick people have told Rick that this is maybe going to happen, that Shane is losing his mind, and it's a shitty plan that Shane has put together anyway. Like, it's a little transparent, and so it would be dumb for them to expect us to think that Rick wouldn't figure it out. Like,
Yeah.
it happens. You're like, yeah, okay, Rick, what are you going to do? And what he does is just sort of let it happen.
He does. And so there's a great scene with Rick and Shane arguing about what's going to happen, and Rick trying to convince Shane that he doesn't have to kill him. that he says, we can go back to how it was. We don't have to tell anybody anything happened. And Rick says, I'm going to put my gun down. I'm putting it down. And then he stabs Shane and kills him.
And I was pissed.
Were you?
I was pissed, yes.
For those of you who don't know, Brad, in the comic book... Or wait, maybe we should tell the other part first.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So what happens after that is that...
Actually, I love the scene, though, where Rick is like, why did you make me do this to you? I love... Oh, man, it's awesome.
I'm going to have to go back and watch it again and actually enjoy it, because for that scene, like, I knew they were doing a good job, but I was still pissed. Anyway.
And then he realizes that Carl was watching them, and Carl was there. Because I didn't know... I thought it was actually set up really well that when Rick looks at Carl, you actually see the house, that Shane was so stupid that he literally brought him into the field right in front of the house.
Yeah.
So Shane gets up, and they didn't know that either about him.
Like there's this awkward scene between Rick and Carl where Carl doesn't really understand what's happening, and he's sort of afraid, and you don't know why. Well, you do know why. Yeah, Shane starts to get up, and Carl points the gun, and Rick thinks he's pointing it at Rick, and of course we know he's not. And then Carl shoots Shane, zombie Shane.
That's the thing I didn't like is Carl couldn't say like "Dad, behind you." Like that scene, that like pointing the gun at him took forever to just.
Yeah. No, I would agree with you there,
but see, I think too it was because in the episode before they set up that he's kind of afraid to use a gun, and he also didn't want the gun, so I think there's the hesitant of and
like Dad, get out of the way.
Yeah,
but he can still like struggle with shooting. Like why couldn't he?
Yeah.
Why were they teasing us like that? It seems so forced.
The reason is because he has to be the one to shoot him, and that's because of why I was pissed. What happens in the comic is different.
Right, but I'm just saying, like, why can't they get Rick out of the way? Like, why are they teasing him? It's like, oh, he might shoot his dad. Like,
yeah,
it seemed like this.
Partially because if he tells Rick, then Rick will shoot Shane, or Rick will kill Shane, and Carl has to be the one to kill Shane.
But his character doesn't know that.
No, I know that. I'm looking at it as far as what the writers would do. I feel like the writers were stuck in a place where
lazy.
No, I don't think it's that. They were stuck in a place where they had to figure out, okay, how do we make it so that Carl has to be the one to shoot Shane, and they also wanted to play with that dynamic of Rick being afraid that Carl will misinterpret what he's just done. Basically, what I want to get to is what happens in the comic is different, which is that when they have that fight, they like actually there's a physical fight there. They hit each other. They like wrestle and punch each other, and then get back up. And you can tell that Shane is about to shoot Rick, and all of a sudden Shane gets shot in the neck, and it pans over, and you see that Carl shoots a live Shane. And that, like, especially with last week's episode where there was all of this buildup of Carl playing with the gun, Carl fooling around with the zombie, and sort of learning this lesson about,
with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah. And having to face the thing that he's been afraid of this whole time, that then having him sort of man up and finally kill something, but to have that be a person and not a zombie is a really big statement, and I still hate the fact that they changed that. And it's a huge, like, it strips Carl of sort of his innocence in that moment as well, though they've already kind of done that. But it was still fairly
someone
satisfying.
who hasn't read the comic, Brad, what did you think?
What part?
Was it shocking to you that one Rick killed Shane and then Carl shot Shane, or did you see it coming?
I didn't see it coming. I thought Rick was actually gonna let Shane go, but so when he did stab him, I was like, well, that makes sense because he's at this point he's doing anything to protect his family. He told them that, and like I said, just Carl pointing the gun and like not telling his dad to get out of the way so I could shoot this thing.
Yeah,
the way
that
it takes me a while to actually pull the trigger. Yeah, the pace is. I was like, what the is going on? And then there's also this weird like long cut on when Lori and the Asian kid, I just dropped his name. Glenn's fixing the radiator, and it's just kind of hanging on.
Well, there's a reason
for a little bit. Like, did I miss it?
Yeah, it's because that was Dale's job. it was this moment where all of a sudden they have to realize that they have to get on without Dale, and Dale was the only one who knew how that engine worked.
Oh.
Like there have been jokes this season where Dale will pretend like or purposely break the RV.
In order to chat with people.
Well, no, because he's using it as a power. Like he was when they were back on the road before they found the house. He purposely broke apart on that thing so that he knew he could fix, so that they wouldn't leave without Sophia and things like that. So like that RV is in a lot of ways tied to Dale, and so that's what that long shot was about.
I thought it was something else, but yeah.
But yeah, no,
So.
I was just curious because I read an interesting column in this week's Entertainment Weekly, and the editor-in-chief never read the Walking Dead comic, and he said it's The Walking Dead is maybe the most well-written show ever on TV, and that he didn't expect those twists, he didn't expect this stuff, and he said the problem with network TV now, where AMC has figured out with Breaking Bad, Mad Men, and The Walking Dead, is that if you don't treat your audience dumb and you just let the characters grow and have quiet moments, that your show is better because of it. And he wrote a really interesting article, and I was just curious to get your take on it, because he said that he couldn't believe that they killed Shane. And someone who read the comic book, I knew that Shane was eventually going to die.
Yeah.
And
like especially in season 1, I was almost grieving the fact that they cast him so well and made me like Shane so much.
Yeah.
That I was like, no, but I have to see Shane break. And I was expecting it to happen so quick that was going to be hard, but then they took such a long time, like it was such a languid process that by the time they killed Shane, it was like a release. It was like, we're not shackled by this character anymore. And not in a bad way. It's more like these characters are freed of that, but then of course you see the preview of next week and it's like, and now they're zombies.
Detrimental to the whole group.
Right, exactly.
And so it's interesting. And I was just curious to get your take on it, because the guy in Entertainment Weekly thought it was amazing.
I wouldn't say it's amazing, because I feel like there's times in the show where I just roll my eyes. I'm like, really, you're going to go to that well? Or they walk around a lot and talk, and they don't really do, like, obviously there's not a lot to do, but they let Carl wander around after Sophia. Like, they don't seem really worried about Carl wandering off too much, even though Sophia just got, which are points. There's this site John Ekstrom showed me where like this guy picks apart, especially the episode where Carl teases the zombie, like that episode, like the goofiness of it in a humorous way, and like I kind of agree with what the guy was saying, but I forget where it was, so I could tell you, but.
I certainly wouldn't call it the best written show. Like, in fact, the shows you listed there, Mad Men and Breaking Bad, I think are better written shows. But the interesting thing about Walking Dead is that it is not because of the nature of that show. They can do things that you don't expect and kill characters in ways you don't expect.
That's what I mean. I think that why people who haven't read the comic don't understand that happens in that world.
Yeah.
Where I've read almost all the issues. I'm almost all caught up, but people die in that constantly. And,
and even on TV, it is like, and as somebody who's read it, like with Dale was a big one. Like,
Dale was crazy.
No, Dale survives all of this. Like, Dale's going to be around for a long time. And then to lose him so suddenly, I was like, oh, that's right. I even start forgetting that I'm not safe in that world either, which is really good.
But I think the guy, he made a great point, though, is how AMC is able to make their shows have higher quality than, is they don't fall in the same traps as a lot of other shows. Because
they don't.
Some people, because Shane was so well written and he was portrayed so well, that they like, you know what, we don't need to kill him. We'll just keep him going.
Well, like Lost does it with Benjamin Linus. That character is not supposed to be the character he was. Who Ben Linus becomes is a different character, and that character was supposed to die, but he was portrayed so well that they just rewrote that whole character for that actor.
He kept on making it better. I love
exactly.
that character.
I'm not saying that character's bad. I'm just saying
exactly.
When you find something that's really good, that's a great source of drama and tension, you just don't kill that off. And it is. It has a lot to do with the fact that they don't talk down to their audiences, and that they have the balls to change their source material in a way that, say, Game of Thrones refuses to, and as such is just stale because of.
And James is in the minority of that because everybody loves that show.
I haven't
That
seen
show
it,
is
but that's all I've heard is how great it is.
I haven't
so.
seen it either. I still have, like I said, the Blu-ray first episode.
I don't
Okay,
actually
great.
know anybody who likes that show.
Really? Maybe just be critics. I always read people.
Yeah. Yeah, critics love it. I have friends who have read the books and agree with me that show. Well, I have one friend, I guess, who does kind of like it, but more in fan service ways. He looks forward to seeing things
Boobs?
that he likes in the book portrayed on screen. But anyways,
Anyways, I think The Walking Dead's great.
Yeah.
So make sure you see next week's episode because all the ruckus they've been causing lately has brought a tons of zombies. And there was a... Go ahead.
Oh, I was getting ready to say something, but you can finish.
Oh, no, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I hope this season finale turns out like obviously they
better than the last one.
Yeah, better than season 1 because I thought
the
first season episode 6 was.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Well, but that ending is sort of set up by the episode 1 or 2 episodes before that. So I feel like we kind of know where it's going. Like the next episode they're gonna have to fight some zombies.
And
Herschel will probably die, and they'll get pushed off of the farm.
Well, yeah,
and
they'll have to be.
They'll probably end the way they did last season, where they'll be
on the road somewhere.
leaving on the road, and we don't know where they're gonna where they're gonna land.
Did you guys see the preview for next week's episode?
It was so lame. It was just a scene that was in the episode we just.
Yeah. It's just Carl and Rick walking, and then you see a whole bunch of zombies in the background.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. I like the...
Wasn't that in the show? I thought that was in the show.
Yeah,
That's why
it's
I
like
was
an extended version.
Oh,
of it.
I see what you're saying. Oh, okay.
They looked to the distance a little longer.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
will say this. I read Entertainment Weekly, and you will find out what the CDC guy whispered into Rick's ear in this episode of The Walking Dead. Teaser.
We should theoretically also get Michonne in that episode.
We should.
Unless they straight up lied and she's not in the season, but
We'll see.
that's a shame. I don't want to know when she's going to show up.
Yeah.
I just
We'll
want to
find
have her
out.
show up all of a sudden.
So this week, we saw 21 Jump Street. Brad, should people go see 21 Jump Street?
Fuck yeah.
James, should people go see 21 Jump Street?
Absolutely.
I agree. I think it was one of the funniest movies I've seen in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Trailer.
Not so Slim Shady. What's up, dude? I haven't seen you since high school. Hey, titty twister! Stop!
You're good at this, huh?
Test results, gentlemen. Such bull. You're really good at this.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to be friends?
Yeah, dude.
You're ready for a lifetime of being badasses.
Oh, I am.
I thought this job would have more car chases and explosions. You're dead.
Yours isn't loaded, right?
Nah, that's no fun. What's up, Chief? Got our first bust.
I got him! Yes!
You forgot to read him his Miranda rights. Do you even know the Miranda rights?
Look, it obviously starts with, do you have the right to remain an attorney?
Did you say you have the right to be an attorney?
You do have the right to be an attorney if you want to.
We're reviving a canceled undercover program from the 80s.
Where do we report to?
Down on Jump Street, 21 Jump Street.
You are here because you some Justin Bieber, Miley Cyrus looking mothers. You will be going in as undercover high school students.
You have exceptional muscle tone there, young man. When'd you go through puberty? Like at 7 or something?
There's a new synthetic drug at Sagan High. The mission is find a supplier.
I think the dealers are the popular kids.
We should throw a party. That would be the quickest way to get in with them.
Come on, let's go.
Don't give nobody no drugs, no alcohol.
I promise you we'll be super professional.
Take it here so I know you're cool. Have fun.
Are you guys on drugs? I don't like that. Put your tongue back in your mouth.
A lot of things have made me wonder about you. Your taste in music. The fact that you look like a 40-year-old man.
Let me check out your chest. Check out your test.
After what you pulled yesterday. There's no way you could be cuffed, right?
Will you go to prom with me? That was crazy! Oh, when did I get stabbed? That's awesome! Yeah! Why do you always jump across the car like that?
Because it looks cool. You try. You okay?
I think I crapped my pants.
What's great about the whole movie is they are so self-aware that they're making a shitty reboot of a movie.
Yeah.
And
They even call themselves out on it.
yeah,
A reboot of a TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I mean, yeah. And so yeah. And I can't even describe how like goofy this movie is.
I was laughing, I think, every 10 seconds.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was
a very
consistently
good,
funny.
A very good LPM, laughs per minute, on this movie, if you were to quantify it.
Yeah. And it was also like a really good script, I thought.
Yeah, exactly. There were a lot of times, if I have a critique on this movie, it's that I don't think that it's terribly well directed or edited. There are times where like the fight sequence at the house party, I didn't really know what was going on. It was hard to follow that. And then the first few minutes, like they just rush through the setup of this movie that it's choppy, and I don't really enjoy it. I feel like the movie starts twice.
Yeah, I think in like the first 3 minutes, like they're instantly like they've already done Police Academy and they're friends.
The first 3 minutes are like the trailer.
Yeah,
much.
but too, I think that it helps the movie too, because I don't think you really need to have that part dragged out.
Yeah,
because
we've seen stuff like that before.
And I mean, they did a good enough job, at least with the actors, setting up their relationship that I didn't need to get into it a lot. But I more mean like, I feel like the little snippets in between that should have made those transitions a little better.
Yeah, I get
and
what
maybe
you're saying,
maybe one more scene in this time period of their life and one more scene in that time period of their life would have let it breathe a bit more. Where it's almost like it'd be like starting the movie Rocky with the montage and then going in. No, you gotta give me a little bit of meat at the beginning to get me into this movie.
But this is the movie's really funny, and I think it's one of those movies you have to see more than once, because there's so many little things that are going on in the background on like posters and little character moments.
I mean, what I was getting at there was I think this script is one of the best scripts for a comedy.
Yeah.
And a straight up comedy. Like it's not a a dramedy, like The Sitter or something like that, where there's some real emotion in there. No, I just mean a straight up comedy script. It's one of the best comedy scripts I've seen in a while.
Because I didn't expect the whole dynamic of you've got the cool kid and then the nerdy outcast kid, which is Jonah Hill.
Right.
Like having to come back to high school and then reverse their roles.
Right.
Yeah, because
and then like Channing Tatum becomes friends with the nerd group and learns through them instead of Jonah Hill, and then Jonah Hill gets to live vicariously through the mission.
Yeah.
What Channing Tatum grew up as, and like it was just so deep on a different level.
And what's cool about that too is we know, because we're nerds.
Yeah.
Is when we were in high school, you were picked on because I was picked on because I used to carry Spider-Man comics and I was in drama and how lame it was. And in this, it's right. Now it's cool to like comics. It's cool to be in
protect
theater.
the environment.
Yeah.
And at the same time, while they address that fact that like that nerd culture has become so prominent, there are still super nerds and those social guys in there that Channing Tatum then has to find to befriend. And that's one of the other things is I love the fact that they draw attention to that like even though we pretend like being nice to everybody is this popular thing that being in high school now is so much better than it used to be, the truth is there are still those people having shitty lives in high school.
And how great is Dave Franco as the douchebag? Like
absolutely.
I mean, even some of the funny things that you'd think are stupid, like when Jonah Hill lifts up his laptop and there's a picture of him playing frisbee, catching a frisbee between his legs, just because he's a total douchebag. And
is this the first time that we've seen Dave Franco in a big movie?
Because
you understand you know that he is actually.
Oh yeah, I mean
James
just
Franco's
like James
brother.
Franco,
Yeah,
I didn't
obviously.
know he existed.
Oh, that's right.
Credits.
No, he's in Fright Night.
Oh, he is in Fright Night.
He's the jackass friend in Fright Night. Oh, you didn't see Fright
Don't
Night.
look at me. Look at him.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
You're right.
But yeah, you're right. The movie was really clever. I mean, it was super meta because there's even parts where Ice Cube comes out. He's like, "Yeah, I'm angry. I'm a black man and I'm a captain and I'm motherfucking angry." And his name is Dickman. And just crazy stuff. And I mean, when they're in Nick Offerman, I don't even know his character's name in the movie, but when they're in the office and he was talking and he had this position where the camera was focused on him, to his left was a picture of him doing the exact same thing, like in the background.
Yeah,
it was
absolutely.
And he turns that the dog statue like on the desk like just like direct.
Yeah, there are a lot of things. There were a lot of like little background things like that going on. In fact, there was one
the
where
YouTube video.
Yeah, the YouTube video. There's a comment on the bottom that says, "I can't masturbate to this." Just a bunch of little clever things.
It got so much that like when we got to the scene at the end where there is a shootout in a hotel scene that reminded me in a lot of ways, mostly because there were like feathers and stuff flying all over the place. It reminded me a lot of the end of True Romance.
Yes.
And there's a bunch of shots where there's a TV behind them, and I kept looking at the TV like, what are they going to put on that TV? I thought they were going to put True Romance on that TV. Like I was like, there's going to be a joke in there, and there wasn't. Like then I started getting disappointed when there weren't funny little jokes wherever it was I was looking.
But yeah, I mean, they had the John Woo moment with the doves coming out of the limo,
which was awesome.
Yeah, and doves are cool. Yeah.
That's one of those things that like the trailer for this movie is fantastic because pretty much all of the jokes in the trailer are not in this movie, and all the ones that are in this movie, there's just a little bit more. Like with the doves, when he gets out, he's got the box. Yeah. He comes out. There's a box that just says doves on it.
Yeah.
And my favorite line is when they're tripping out on the drug, and Channing Tatum busts into the band room, and he's making a noise, and he jumps through a gong and says, "Fuck Miles Davis." Who knows why? But it's awesome.
Oh gosh, yeah.
There's so much randomness in this movie.
Yeah.
So you should definitely see this movie. It's really funny.
And it's directed by some of some guys that they made Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, and they came off of How I Met Your Mother. And it's written by Michael Bacall, who is one of the writers on Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
Nice.
Which is why like a couple of the small actors from Scott Pilgrim showed up in this movie, which is pretty cool.
It is. So yeah, you should see this movie.
Absolutely.
I'm like sitting here wanting to like spout off all the lines in the movie, but I've only seen it once, and it's like it does you a disservice.
Exactly.
Listening,
Hey, man.
like, you just need to go out and enjoy it.
Channing Tatum is so good.
He is.
Like
I've never
he's
been a
one
fan
of
of
those
him
guys.
before. I thought he was just like an action.
Exactly. He's one of those guys that
douchebag,
I
but
sort of, if he only did
he's
G.I.
really
Joe
good in this
movies
one,
from
yeah.
now on, I'd be fine with that. But to see him do this kind of stuff is really cool.
Shows some good range right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
hilarious.
He's hilarious.
So before we wrap this up, you should stay tuned a little longer on this episode, because me and Brad are going to be seeing Casa de mi Padre. Es bueno? Es mal? No sé. And we're also going to be seeing Jeff, Who Lives at Home. So stay tuned for that. Well, James fucked on off out of here, and me and Brad just got back from...
Go home.
Yeah.
Idiot.
Get out of here, dumbass. Good, he's gone. Now the real podcast
What, you got
can
nothing to
start.
say? Yeah, go cry in your corner.
Dude, we heard him so bad he can't even defend himself. He's just crying in the corner. He went to our sound booth and's crying. You can't hear him because the sound booth has soundproof glass in it, but he's back there crying. He can't believe we just trashed him.
We're mean like that.
We are.
Yeah.
So me and Brad, because we're dicks, went and saw 2 movies without him. And the first movie we saw was Jeff, Who Lives at Home. Brad, should people go see Jeff, Who Lives at Home?
Yeah, I don't know about go see it, but I think you can see it. It's worth seeing somewhere. At home.
I agree with you, Brad. I don't think you have to rush out and see it, but yeah, you should see it.
I can't help but wonder about my fate, my destiny.
What if there's no wrong numbers? Maybe it's always the right number.
Hello?
Mom?
Jeff?
Hi.
You know you're supposed to say hello when you pick up the phone. Get off that couch or you're going to find someplace else to live.
I was kind of in the middle of something right now, Mom.
Jeff, what do you do in the basement? You're not cleaning it.
You really want to know? You didn't like it last time we had this
Okay,
conversation.
no, you're right. I don't.
Got a phone call from Randy at Millennium Porsche.
We're not getting a Porsche.
You're just like in this mindset.
We don't have the money.
Yeah, that's the mindset I'm talking about.
Pat.
Surprise.
Everything happens for a reason, right?
That's exactly it.
Jeff!
Pat? I was on the truck. The truck came here. Now you're here? I was meant to have a meeting with Destiny.
Mom called. She's really pissed.
Jeff's stuck. Maybe you could get him moving.
Once again, I have to pick up your slack.
What is wrong with you? Why do you want to live like this? Drifting through this life with no awareness.
What are you talking about?
Pat, who's that guy your wife's with? Why don't you just go in there and talk to her?
Oh my God, you have no idea how adult relationships work, do you? I need to find out exactly what's going on so I'll have the upper hand later.
Something really big is happening here. My wife is having an affair. We don't know that yet. Let's follow this and see where it leads.
I'm gonna break down the door.
That's a terrible idea. I've seen you try to do things physically. Oh!
I hate
at my kids right now. I don't know when that happened. They were so cute.
I've been having this really weird dream about Dad lately. He says, Pat, what's the greatest day in the history of the world? And I'm like, Dad, I don't know. And he just looks at me and he smiles. And he
says today.
How'd you?
Yeah.
Isn't the most important thing finding someone who sees you exactly as you are?
Yeah.
I just want to feel that we both want to, like, be in love. I want it so bad.
Dude, you need to say that to her.
Pat, look out! Tree! Stay in the car.
I am fine. Yes, thank you for asking.
Good.
Was it the Duplass brothers? Duplass? Some French fuckers.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Is that French? I don't know.
I don't know either.
All I know is one of them is on the league. So.
Oh yeah, no, they're not French at all. So, anyways, it stars Jason Segel and Ed Helms, and they are brothers. Jason Segel plays Jeff, who still lives with his mother in the basement, and Ed Helms believes that he's successful because he's at a paint place.
He manages a painting
supply
store.
Yeah, something like that. And everyone looks at Jeff as like he's a loser because he stays at home. And Jeff is a firm believer that he sees signs everywhere. And
he's constantly on a search for what his purpose in life is supposed to be.
Yeah, he feels that he has a meaning in life. And it's his mom's birthday. His mom's played by Susan Sarandon. And for her birthday, she just wants him to take the bus to the Home Depot and get glue to fix a little piece of wood panel on cabinet door.
Shutters, I think.
Shutters, cabinet door, something like that. And before he leaves, he gets a phone call from a guy looking for Kevin, who's really pissed looking for Kevin. And so he leaves, and on his way to the Home Depot on a bus, some black kid comes on the bus, and he's wearing a jersey that says Kevin on it. And so he gets off the bus and follows him and gets mugged after he plays basketball with him.
Which, did you notice the picture frames? Obviously, they're trying to set up a backstory. In the intro, the family frames, the family photos. He obviously went to Harvard on a basketball scholarship or something.
I guess, yeah.
I don't know if there's an injury or something, or he just failed classes or something,
or something with his father dying.
So yeah, his basketball thing didn't pan out. So when he goes and starts to play basketball to figure out who this Kevin guy is, and then it ends up firing on him again, it's like basketball is not his path.
Yeah. So throughout the whole movie, he sees a bunch of signs having to do with Kevin. And yeah, I mean, the movie I thought was pretty good. It's not I don't know.
We forgot to tell his brother's plight is.
Oh yeah, Ed Helms buys a Porsche, and much to the chagrin of his wife,
who wants a house and.
So yeah, I guess the parallel there is just because Jeff lives at home and doesn't have a job, he doesn't take responsible. But also Ed Helms is irresponsible because instead of getting a house and a home and starting a family with his wife, he goes out and gets a Porsche, and against his wife's wishes. And so it's a really uncomfortable scene. And along the way, after Jeff gets mugged, he happens to pass by a Hooters where his brother's. What was his brother's name? What was Ed Helms' character's name? I can't remember.
Pat.
And Pat sees him, and then they get in this little thingamajig and
call each other out on
their bullshit. But there's a really funny line that Jason Segel says that Yoda would fucking kill it in a business meeting.
Yeah. Because Ed Helms says he's at Hooters for a business meeting when he's just bullshitting with his work buddy, and then
a work buddy who isn't really down, I think, hanging out with him.
Yeah, he hates hanging out with him.
Yeah. So, I mean, the movie is interesting. It's more of a dramedy. I mean, totally different than the movie we saw with James, 21 Jump Street, where it's just rapid-fire jokes after jokes.
Yeah, straight-up comedy. This movie's about finding your place in life and being happy in other ways than you expect.
Yeah, and it's not just Jeff. I mean, it's his mother, it's his brother, and even his brother's wife.
Mm-hmm.
And they all kind of learn, through this one day about what their purpose in life is. And I mean, I thought everybody was really good in the movie. I thought the performances were really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Just wasn't. I mean, it was a good movie. It's just I don't know what else I don't know what you can possibly do in the movie to
It's all about the performances.
Yeah.
And, the story about Jeff kind of just following these leads to figure out, where he's supposed to be in life. It's kind of straightforward. So
yeah,
you're just kind of watching
like the day
people
unfold,
act and see where it goes. And I like how I ultimately like what Jeff eventually found his destiny to be. So
yeah, that scene was really cute and unexpected. I actually thought it was kind of unexpected when I guess we can. Who cares? We spoil everything.
Yeah.
They come to a bridge that's backed up with traffic, and his brother Pat gets out because he's looking for his wife as they're all going to New Orleans, and his wife's going to see his mom because Jeff and his wife are having problems. Anyways, Jeff sees that these kids or this family's car flew off the bridge, and he saves them.
He jumps in the water.
Rescues
from almost kills himself in the process. Pat saves Jeff.
Yeah.
It's by the end of the movie you realize like the whole time it's like Jeff's purpose is to help people and save like not necessarily save lives but like just fix people's situations, and it's cute.
It was cute. And I thought it was actually the kind of secondary story with his moms, who played by Susan Sarandon. I thought it was actually kind of a cute little story too, about how their father died a while ago, and she doesn't really go on dates, and she finds out she has a secret admirer at work, and trying to figure out who it is kind of interesting. And I thought she played it really well. That she's kind of damaged, and she can't believe someone would be interested in her, and
it's totally not.
It's not what you expect at all.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of a cool, clever play. I mentioned it earlier after we were done with the movie, but I thought it was bizarre camera choices in the movie where they constantly like zoom in.
The cinematography, it's kind of using the
like documentary style,
but
kind of overdoing it. I don't know. It's weird.
It's obviously not a big budget movie, so they're it's more about the performances. So I'm sure on their budget, it's just like, okay, deliver, and then we'll just capture it. And trying to give it more of a true to life feel.
Sometimes I think that makes it distracting. Do you find it distracting at all?
Not really. I felt it was appropriate for the movie. Like it worked for that. Like you could also do it the other way. I don't think it matters.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it's distracting when people are just sitting there and the camera like zooms in.
Yeah,
I think that's weird, but sometimes it works. Like in the Bourne movies, it works and things like that. But all in all, I thought the movie was cute, and I'll watch it again when it's. I don't know. Maybe my wife will want to see it, and. Yeah,
I thought Jeff would eventually be exposed as this guy who has like no wisdom, like it pretends to be, like have wisdom and stuff and have something meaningful to say, and he actually was like throughout the movie,
right?
Right. Like, I don't know, explain it.
Yeah, I don't know either. I know what you mean, but you can't really explain it.
Because the movie starts with a quote from him, and you're like, oh, this guy's going to be called out on saying stupid things, and his brother kind of does, but
his brother's wrong.
His brother's kind of a douche anyway. So ultimately, it shows like Jeff, like his, even if he didn't call him out on it, like Jeff's words and phrases.
Yeah, because even
he's like a monk.
Yeah,
throughout the movie.
Yeah, I guess so. Because he's not violent until, except at one point when he busts in and sees Pat's wife about to cheat on him with another man, and then he gets all of a sudden like retard strength and is able to hold this guy back. But yeah, it's
the movie doesn't really treat him in his way of thinking like an idiot.
Yeah, that's kind of refreshing.
It really celebrates, like it's like it doesn't really show an argument for both sides. It just shows Jeff as like, yeah, he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, and he's right too, because he just calls his brother an asshole. He's an asshole. He really is. He takes his wife for granted, and he thinks he's better than everybody else, and he's really not.
I love the line when they're staying in the hallway of the hotel, and Jeff, he's like, or Pat says, what should I do? Do you have any ideas? And then Jeff says, you should just kind of take a deep breath and think about this for a little while. And then Pat says something condescending about it, and then Jeff replies with, well, if you have a better idea, I would gladly listen to it and not make you feel like an idiot for saying it or something.
And then that's kind of when Ed Helms' character almost changes. Then he has a falling out with his wife, but then he really changes when Jeff confronts him and says, what would you say to her really? And you're right, he's kind of like a monk where he just spouts this wisdom and kind of helps his brother along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that because sometimes independent movies like that, they always try to be way different. So what I was saying earlier is I thought maybe Pat would be running up and his wife's car would be in an accident, she'd be dead or something.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I thought that too. Like that whole traffic jam was her. Yeah.
So that was cool that they kind of went a different way because the story isn't about. I mean, it is about Pat kind of, but it really isn't about Jeff and his story. And you needed a closure on that story and what his purpose was. And so I thought it was really. So I appreciated that choice that they made, opposed to that his wife is dead now and.
Yep, that's all I got.
Yeah, that's all I got too. So the second movie we saw was this Mexican import, Casa de Mi Padre, starring Will Ferrell and
some guy named Will Ferrell.
Yeah, some guy named Will Ferrell. And Brad, should people go see Casa de Mi Padre?
I don't know. Yeah, I think it's worth maybe watching at home. I don't know about go out to see it.
I think they should. I thought it was pretty funny. So here's the trailer. Is it the trailer in Spanish? I don't remember. I think it is.
Guess we'll find out.
Yeah. Anyways, stay tuned for that.
Armando, hay algo que tienes que saber.
¿Qué es lo que tengo que saber?
The biggest international motion picture of all time.
Mi mujer, señorita López, tiene que amar a la tierra como yo la amo.
Is coming to America.
Tú, ¿vas al jale en el que anda? Esto se va a poner muy feo.
Experience the action, the passion, the drama.
Que disfrutes de todos los placeres de la vida, aunque sea la destrucción de la familia.
The laughter. The music.
Yo no sé por qué es lenta la tortuga. Yo no sé.
On March 16th, the battle begins.
Quiero a la muchacha. Solo te daré una oportunidad. Suelta a la mujer y te dejo vivir.
Gael Garcia Bernal, Diego Luna, Genesis Rodriguez, and introducing Will Ferrell.
Yo soy Armando Álvarez.
Casa de Mi Padre, in color.
You speak American?
Huh?
Do you speak American?
No, señor. No habla americano.
March 16th.
Es muy bueno. So the movie stars Will Ferrell, and the whole premise of the movie is predicated on the fact that you've seen telenovelas on the Spanish channel. Because if you have, because I work in the restaurant industry, and I have Mexican workers, every morning they always put those on. They call them their stories, and they are exactly like that.
Like old people.
They're totally ridiculous. And the premise of this one is Will Ferrell plays Armando Alvarez, and he's a coward rancher, and his brother Raul is a drug dealer, and Raul comes back to his father's ranch, and he brings with him the problems of being a drug dealer.
Yeah.
And yeah. The movie is so bizarre, and it has the Will Ferrell kind of humor in it, where it's not written by Will Ferrell, but it's written by one of his Funny or Die guys with him, and that's how they got him, is they just would watch these Spanish soap operas, and they wrote a movie about it.
Hey, we should make fun of that.
Yeah. And if the one that would always get me is every time someone would talk to somebody, their back would be turned, and they'd be talking to them really dramatically, and that is verbatim lifted from those. And the overacting, where they're in the movie he's calling him a coward, and in those Spanish shows are always overacting, and everything's so dramatic, and yeah, I can't even.
Sorry, I'm just thinking how disappointed in myself that I am when you asked me if people should go see it. I should have said SCSC.
Yeah, you should have. you had a chance to
Yeah.
flex your Spanish speaking muscles, and you
Boo
did
to
not.
me. But yeah, after seeing 21 Jump Street and like laughing constantly
Yeah.
through that, and then it's so much of a one joke movie.
Mm-hmm.
The whole humor is just how over dramatic. They're taking something that's already dramatic and just making it like the characters. They're playing characters and they're totally committed to what's the word for it? They're not breaking.
I don't know what you're going for here.
Sorry,
but it's but there's so many visual jokes in that movie.
They're taking themselves seriously.
Yeah,
even though what's going on screen is completely not serious.
I love movies like that. I really kind of enjoyed this movie. Stuff like where Will Ferrell's brother Raul says, "This is," and he reaches down. They're in this bar, and he pulls up dirt, and he says, "My land."
Mi tierra.
Yeah, and he drops all the dirt on Gael Garcia,
who's smoking 2 cigarettes.
Who's smoking 2 cigarettes at once?
Because he in most movies like that where people are at a bar, someone lights up a cigarette and talks to the one guy, and then he has to talk to Will Ferrell now, so he turns around and then lights up another one, start a conversation with him.
Yeah, stuff like that just made me laugh because there's also continuity errors on purpose in it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple times when Will Ferrell would have a cigarette in his mouth, and then the next scene he wouldn't have one in his mouth, and then they cut back and he'd have the cigarette in his mouth again, or
he'd have finished making one and then lean down and all this stuff inside would fall out.
Because he never really lit a cigarette, did he? There'd always just be just be about to have one. He'd be making them. But yeah,
well, he couldn't do it. I guess is the gag is his character. He was such an idiot that he never learned how.
Yes, but yeah, the movie is just so ridiculous, and
there's a whole sequence missing of a fight between a jaguar and a
Bengal tigers and a coyote,
and the write a letter on screen to tell you why it's missing.
Yeah. And there's a sex scene in it where all they're doing is rubbing each other's butts, and then
in a mannequin.
Halfway through, it's a mannequin with Will Ferrell. It's the most absurd thing, and the reason I said this before with the Tim and Eric, I like movies like this because sometimes I think movies take themselves way too seriously, and it's just goofy. And
the production value was really faithful to.
Yeah,
it really seemed like a Spanish movie.
Yeah, like the lighting and stuff too.
Yeah, lighting, and then the sets and because there were some, they'd be filmed in a real place, and then they'd cut away, and they'd suddenly be on a soundstage somewhere.
Yeah. Or one of my favorite jokes was they would never show Will Ferrell or what was the girl named Sonia? I don't know her real name, Genesis Martinez or something. Riding a horse. They'd never show him riding a horse, and then when a horse would come up, it'd be just show the horse's legs, and you hear a car door open and it close, and then Will Ferrell would walk up. Stuff like that was funny. The terrible blocking of stage, where when Raul tells his family that he's going to marry Sonia, and he tells her to come here, and she has to walk in front of the camera, in front of the sofa, and then she walks back, and then it cuts back to the guy playing Raul, and he's waiting for her to come up, and you hear her walking in the distance, and she comes from behind him instead of in front of him, and
she's wearing something totally different.
Something totally different. Her hair is different, and it's just so bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they have songs break out every once in a while.
In the end, when Will Ferrell shoots the villain, they have a close up of the one bullet flying through the air, but then the villain gets shot in 3 different places.
Yeah, or at that part, he's about to be shot, and all of a sudden his 2 friends show up out of nowhere and throw him a gun.
And the villains always have the gun drawn on them, but then Will Ferrell has plenty of time to shoot them before they shoot him.
It's so
they just wait around for him to shoot at them.
I think it's another movie I'm gonna have to watch again because it's funny. I mean, there was parts I thought were really funny. Yeah,
it was funny in places. It wasn't across the board for me.
No, it wasn't. It's really
inconsistent. There's some parts that are kind of slow, and I just thought there'd be more in the subtitles. I just thought there'd be more. A lot of the dialogue is just straightforward.
It is. It is really straightforward.
Standard, what you'd probably see in one of those movies. I expected more of every couple beats there'd be some ridiculous line.
Yeah,
So-
you know, that's what I was hoping too. Maybe the translation would be bad, but the translation was correct.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a funny scene when they were talking about how stupid America is.
Yeah.
They eat greasy hamburgers and stuff their baby mouths.
Yeah.
Just absurd humor that Will Ferrell's really known for.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I do like the risk that he took making the movie,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, that's about all you can say about it.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So no, not a bad week in movies. Saw 3 movies this week.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And yeah, I guess we'll see you next week when we see only one, The Hunger Games.
You can come back in now, James.
Yeah, James, come back. Come back, James. Come back. We're sorry. Say you're sorry to him.
Sorry, James.
Fuck.
Sorry I called you an idiot.
Now you can start talking again. You can follow us on Twitter, real_nerds. You can read our awesome blogs or listen to our podcast at realnerds.tumblr.com. You can like us on Facebook, Real Nerds Podcast. You can email me directly, realnerds@gmail.com. Did you know we're going to be at 2 fests this year? We're going to Starfest, which is April... say something...
20th.
20th. Say something clever.
20th through the 22nd.
I don't have tickets for that one yet.
And also, we'll be at Denver Comic Con with our own booth, June 15th through the 17th.
Come hang out with us.
Come hang out with us.
Enjoy our fabulous giveaways and contests.
Yes.
Whatever they
which
will
we're
be.
still figuring out.
What we're figuring out, but there will be a contest.
I will be cosplaying, so you can come take pictures and
Are you
hang
busting
out
out
with the Shredder?
The Shredder? Nice.
Yeah.
You're going to bust out Wally?
that
costume's
destroyed.
really
Is
good.
it?
Oh, man.
Yeah. I guess I could take the one that Disney gave me and hollow it out and
You could.
wear that.
So yeah, stay tuned for that stuff. Next week we'll be watching The Hunger Games.
Yeah. I'll be excited to see exactly. Like I said, the first review that I saw come up today from Slash Film was really good.
Yep.
And from a guy that I would normally expect to not like a movie like that. So
I still don't understand
I'm really,
it.
I'm interested. That's for sure.
I read a 10-page article about it in Entertainment Weekly. I still have no idea. Like, I don't get it.
I
understand the story, but I don't get it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Because
I understand the appeal.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
It I started reading the book but put it down because I didn't think it was terribly well written. But it's a premise you've heard before, but the reason it catches on is sort of like the details and the way it's written, like it's a page turner of a novel sort of thing, I don't think that the ideas or the plot itself are necessarily why people like it. So it'll be interesting to see if
Obviously,
that translates into a good movie.
I feel like it's only gotten made because of the Twilight, so I'm trying to find the connection. Like,
I
the
don't know.
Twilight franchise got this greenlit.
I think
I
think the reason you feel that way is because it's happened so quickly.
How long has these books been around? I feel like it's only been like.
I mean,
they came out in the,
she's written 3 of them at this point, so they've been out for a while.
I think the third one came out
like
last
before
year.
like in the 90s or
No.
the last
That's
decade?
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like normally, this would be a thing where the books would be popular in the 90s, and now they'd be getting around to making movies of them. Or the book would be popular in 1911, and now they would be getting around to making a movie out of them. But after Harry Potter and the Twilight movies and things like that, when the book catches on, they want to capture that. Or The Help is even like that. Like the book caught on, and then they immediately wanted to make a movie out of it. It's just a trend now.
Well, and Spielberg
that I think would have
picked
happened
up
anyway
the rights for Robo Apocalypse before it was even released.
Because he likes that title.
Yeah.
I'm sure. There's not a question in my mind that
Science fiction. I'm good at that.
Yeah, somebody said to
Brilliant
Steven
at it.
Spielberg, Robopocalypse, and he laughed for 3 days and then bought the rights to that movie.
So yeah.
Anyway,
Stay tuned for that. So yeah, there'll be a little extra here. Me and Brad.
Where's your Dudley Do-Right voice?
Fuck.
Oh, stay tuned for me and Brad reviewing Casa de Mi Padre. That's what I got.
Michael Bacall is also the guy involved in making the dramatization of The King of Kong, so he can suck my... Never mind.
That seems like a weird...
Suck your Kong dong? James.
Wow.
Come on.
Bye.
Bye.